Hey there, welcome back and thank you for watching. It is fall and it is leaf cleanup time. So this year I'm going to show you how much time it takes to do a little bit of cleanup with the Cadet, the lawnmower, blowing them into the woods. Then I'm going to compare that to cleaning up with the pine straw rake. Now, I am, it's dusty. So there's a couple of factors here that we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about just that straight comparison. We're also going to talk about when the leaves fall. Hardwood versus softwood, do they all come down at the same time? Is everyone's yard the same? And then we'll talk about external factors like weather. So you see in the background here, I did a couple swipes with the mower. Leaves are super dry. You can't count on that every year. So that, moisture is clearly a big factor at play. So let me start off here by showing you what I've done with the Cadet 42-inch mower deck with a couple swipes. All right, so I'll paste in here just sort of an overview of the property so you can see where I've cleaned up just from satellite perspective, but all the way out there to the end of the driveway. And this is only with the Cadet, and then up to that point of the driveway. And then here you can see I basically started at the fence and then blew leaves over into the woods. Now they were kind of piled up there, so I also had to use the cordless blower to sort of break the pile so it wasn't just this giant line of leaves right across the wood line. So I did that much, but here, let me show you what I did behind the carport. Then you can see the line I made here going all the way back and behind the carport. I'll show you that. So there you can see, and I just blew those in the woods, and same thing, used the cordless blower to break the piles. So I didn't have big piles right on the edge of the woods. And then the last stripe, you can see this is quite a bit wider. I blew all those in the woods. Now I'll tell you, that was a dusty mess to do that, but I did it. But here's the problem. Here's what's left. All of this. And all of that. Okay, so I was just standing up here. I've basically just made, I'll use a big circle around the property. So you can see that is a ton more leaves. And, doing that with a Cadet, yeah, it works. That's about an hour and 20 minutes of work. And it is just dusty and filthy work. Pulling those along with the pine straw rake is just so much cleaner and easier. So that's what I'm fixing to do here right now. I'm going to take a couple swipes with the pine straw rake and we're going to see what that looks like. Okay, so here we are. This is the part that I did with the mower, like from here over. And then this is what I did with the pine straw rake. And there's another good angle for you. You can see where I swiped, and there's where I didn't do anything. Then we'll come up here, and that's where I pushed them over into the woods. And then here's a good comparison too. That swath, I didn't go all the way up to the house. And then that swath, you can see I didn't get super close to the house. And I pushed a lot of them that way. And then the ones I didn't push that way, I pushed this way. So I still have to get in there and just do one spread pass with the pine straw rake. So you might be saying to yourself, well, you know, that's a pretty crappy cleanup job. But you have to put it in context. This is how thick they were before. And this is how thick they are after. That is a huge difference. That is a huge, huge difference. What's left there, the mower can cut through way, way easier. Way easier. So why do I do this? I'll tell you exactly why. What you saw there with the pine straw rake, that's positioning, moving the camera, checking it, and all that, you know, which takes time. That was 20 minutes of work. And I did cut off the first couple swipes. I forgot to hit record. Sorry about that, but that's counting those swipes that I didn't record. That's about 20 minutes, barely 20 minutes of raking versus what you saw earlier, which was an hour and 20 minutes of dusty, dirty, gross, blowing leaves, and then getting out there with the hand blower to do the cleanup finish job. And there was stuff blowing everywhere. It was bad. All right, well, life happens. My son had some friends over, so I had to stop recording outside. So let's wrap this video up though. Okay, so that's how I do the leaf cleanup. So if you were considering getting a pine straw rake, this gives you a little info about what you can expect as far as results. And also, if you're struggling between, do I try to just mulch them up? Do I try to gather, bag them? Or do I try to push them / rake them like you saw in this video? Hopefully this gives you some data to sort of make your decision. Now around here, and I'll insert some video here, we have two phases of leaves falling. We have the early phase, which is the softwood tulip poplars. And that's what I'm showing you now. And then that's just down the street from my house. And then around my house, it's really mostly hardwoods. They fall, well, they don't finish falling until late November. So you can see all the leaves in my yard already, even though the hardwoods haven't fallen yet, mostly. So that's just a huge sort of two-phase dump of leaves that happen. And they can get thick quick, and they can be really hard to cut through. And that's even with my DIY leaf bagger, which I'll post a little clip of that video here and a link to it. I did that a couple years ago. At this point, I'm pretty much not using that at all. But it's still a great method, and it's something to consider if that's obviously if you don't have a tractor. But if you were thinking of the pine straw rake, I think it's just a much cleaner way of doing things. It takes the wet leaf factor completely out of the equation as well. You can get a week of rain and still get out there with the pine straw rake and thin the herd. They'll dry out, and then get out there with the mower and do the finishing touches. If you have any questions, please post them in the comments. The Edge Tamers will stay on for the season. I think the next video you're probably going to see from me is a snow video, because they're calling for some snow this winter. And I know they're not that good at forecasting, but it does seem like we're due. It's been a while. So as always, thanks for watching. I'll catch you on the next video. Take care.